Okay, ready? Okay, we're gonna cut Jax's hair. Now I'm gonna make sure you know. I'm gonna try to do this in a way that would make sense for somebody who doesn't do hair. So if you're a hairstylist and you're watching this and you're wondering what the heck I'm doing, it's fine. Are you ready? Okay, so for him, I'm just gonna ready? Look that way. So his hair's pretty long, so I'm gonna do pretty much a 1 faded up to a 2, and then we'll cut the top and stuff afterwards. So you can do this with whatever lengths you want. If you wanted to do like a 2 on the sides and then use a 3 to blend it up, or use a 3 on the sides and use a 4 to blend it up, you can do whichever one, just switch out the length. So on him, I'm gonna do a 1 and then a 2 to show you how to like blend that stuff, because all this is super long, and then I'll show you how to cut the top, and then I'll show you how to blend the sides in. Okay?
Why am I looking at you? You're a picture in a frame. I make believe you're next to me, but I know it's not the same.
So I have number 1. I'm just going to show you on the sides of your clippers. You'll see you can either make it so it's longer or shorter. I'm going to put it at the shortest so that it's an actual number 1. And what we're going to do is just bring it like pretty much like halfway up. And the biggest thing is when you put it up, you don't want to go like right in and dig it into the hair. As you go up, you want to pretty much flick it out as you're doing it. I'm going to use my comb just because I need to do some stuff that I'm used to doing. Sorry, you have a kiss mark on your face. So yeah, so turn it on, and like I said, you're going to put it so it's nice and short, and you're going to put it up against their head and flick out as you're doing it.
Why am I looking at you? You're a picture in a frame. I make believe you're next to me, but I know it's not the same. Why am I looking at you? You're a pixel on a screen. Your animating principle is nowhere to be seen. Why am I lost in a loveless fantasy when somebody real is waiting out there for me?
Put your hands.
Why am I looking at you?
Put your hands through.
I've enjoyed the years I've wasted, but the time has come to face the fact that none of what I see is true. So I'm gonna stop looking at you. Oh, I'm gonna stop looking at you.
Okay, so now you can see like the big difference there. So what you're gonna do, and you don't wanna go too high up, because otherwise when you go to blend, you're gonna have this stuff way too short. Keep watching your show, bud. So you're gonna go and you're gonna kind of flick it out. So you kind of want to make like a little, okay, we'll fix it. Okay. So you can see I'm kind of going to go down into like a point in his hair.
Why am I looking at you? You're a picture in a frame. I make believe you're next to me, but I know it's not the same. Why am I looking at you? You're a pixel on a screen. Your animating principle is nowhere to be seen. Why am I lost in a loveless fantasy when somebody real is waiting out there for me? Why am I looking at you? I've enjoyed the years I've wasted, but the time has come to face the fact that none of what I see is true. So I'm gonna stop looking at you. Oh, I'm gonna stop looking at you. Oh.
Okay, so you can kind of see, so it's a little bit higher, like right here, and it kind of goes down just a bit. So you just want to go like halfway of whatever you're doing. You can kind of see there. Hey, Jax, look at the camera for a sec. So you can see, so like right to about here is that number 1. So it's short, but it's not too much. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put on our number 2. So once again, if you were doing a 2 first, you would move up to a 3. If you were doing a 3, you'd move up to a 4. And then same thing, so you'll turn it on. And then now you're gonna go to kind of where you want it to end and kind of blend it in. We'll still blend it again after with scissors, but you'll take this and then same thing. You're gonna go and you're gonna kind of just like scoop it up. Just not leaning, but you're gonna fall.
Why am I looking at you? You're a picture in a frame. I make believe you're next to me, but I know it's not the same. Why am I looking
Same thing,
at
you're
you?
doing like that up motion and then flicking.
You're a pixel on a screen. Your animating principle is nowhere
the
to.
number 2 there brought up versus on this side, you can't. You can see where it's like that big difference in this hair. And now we'll move back, and same thing, you want to kind of keep doing it where you kind of make it a point down there so you don't take this stuff too short. Unless if you want it really short, you could go higher, but Jax has a ton of calyx, so we're gonna not do that.
Why am I looking at you? You're a picture in a frame. I make believe you're next to me, but I know it's not the same. Why am I looking at you? You're a pixel on a screen. Your animating principle is nowhere to be seen. Why am I lost in a loveless fantasy when somebody real is waiting out there for me?
Let me blow the hair off.
Why am I looking at you? I've enjoyed the years I've wasted, but the time has come to face the fact that none of what I see is true. So I'm gonna stop looking at you.
Otherwise, Mom's gonna take the phone away.
Oh, I'm gonna stop looking at you. Oh, why am I looking at you? You're a picture in a
Okay, so you
frame.
can see now it's not as much.
Oh, no,
Okay.
candy.
Okay. Right? Open. Good job. So you can see there's not as much of a line. Obviously, you can still see the difference. So if you wanted to now, if you still felt like Jax is lucky because his hair is so light, you don't see it as much. Now, if you have a kid that has darker hair or something like that, or your husband has darker hair, whatever it may be, you might see the difference in that haircut way more. So what you can do, if you have your clippers or whatever, take off your number 2. You're gonna put on your number 1, and then you're gonna flip it. So if you look at your trimmers, let's see if I can show you. So there it's at its lowest. You can see it's like right up against there. And then if you push it up, it's at its highest. So it pretty much will make it like a 1.5. So if I go in now, and you're not gonna bring it all the way up, you're just gonna kind of see where you can see that difference. And on him, it's pretty much like right here is that difference from the 1 to the 2. And so same thing, you're just gonna go in and you're just gonna kind of flick it up. And you just wanna make sure you don't go super high, because the higher you go, the more you're just gonna cut into their hair, and you don't wanna do that. So it shouldn't be taking off much, it should be just be like blending out a little bit of that line. And same thing, the whole time I'm doing it, you're flicking that whole part out. So let's see, so you can kind of see that line right there. Another candy in a second.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just finish this and you can have it, okay? Okay, so now I'll show you how we'll do the top. So if you look, you can see now it's like way more blended on the sides, it's cleaned up. If you need to, the good thing is to go in with your brush and kind of brush the hair down, and you'll see if there's any stuff that is sticking out. Then we're gonna go in, spray the top of his hair. He hates this part. His hair's really long. Okay, so depending on what kind of style you want, I'm just gonna kind of keep it like pretty simple so that no matter what you needed to do for somebody, you can make it work. Because you can see his hair is crazy long. So what I'm gonna do, ready, Jack? Is just decide how much I want to take off. For him, I'm gonna take off like a decent amount. So all you're gonna do is take it and you're just gonna cut right above your scissors, right above your fingers, to take off that length. And then all you're gonna do is you're gonna move back and you're gonna kind of leave that stuff out, but you're gonna leave a little bit in so you can kind of see where you move that hair that's from the back, and you would cut that stuff off. And if you find that's too hard, what you can do is cut your first piece, and then instead of moving back, I'll show you if I move it this way, you can go in and you can cut this way if that's easier, where you pull it up and then you just kind of match the front to the back stuff, and then you'll be able to see where it's way longer. Sorry, of course the video stopped. Yeah, don't worry, you can have another piece. Okay, so what I was saying is you're just gonna keep going and matching up everything. So you can see kind of from the sides, if you pull this stuff up, you can see where you need to go in and cut. Or like I said, you can just do it where you cut this way, and then you just find the stuff that needs to be cut, and you just do a straight line across throughout the top. Biggest thing is if you're afraid, don't take a ton off, and you can always take more off. Like, we're trying to shorten his hair up, but not go too crazy. And all you're doing is you're just kind of finding that middle stuff. Like you can see here is where we've cut. I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to make it so you can see that. Maybe it's there. So you can see right here. Yeah, in a sec. And then you're just going to cut from the outside and meet that middle stuff. And then same thing. You're going to pull up this side. You're going to find your middle. And then you're just going to cut it out. Now don't worry about this stuff because you still have to cut that after. Same thing. And obviously for me, like, I don't really have to think about it. But when you're doing it, just take a little bit at a time. And you're just going to work like all the way from the front to the back, and just make sure your kind of middle stuff is where you want it. And like I said, don't worry about what this stuff is doing. And then that's where you're going to decide afterwards what you're going to want to do. So often the best way is if you cut kind of the center stuff and then you go in. Sorry, everything keeps dying on us. We're not pros at this. Okay. So I pretty much cut the center stuff to what I want it to be.
I want no candy.
What do you say?
Please. Mommy wants.
Okay, you can have another one. Okay. So now that I've cut the center stuff, like I said, pull it up. You make sure this is all what you want. And then you're going to now blend in this stuff into here. So the easiest way to do it is you're going to pick the hair up. And you're pretty much just going to tilt your fingers kind of like into a line of wherever you need it to be. So Jax usually wears his hair pushed over to the side, so I always just blend the sides because, let's be real, he doesn't actually care. So for most guys, that's what you're going to do is you're going to find that center piece right here. So that's where you can see it's nice and short, and this is all the stuff we haven't really cut yet. So you're just going to go and cut down. And then you're going to pull up this stuff. And then you can see right here is where his hair is in a second. And then this is what we just finished cutting. So you're just going to go in and match that up. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to pull up the hair. You're going to find where up here is your length that you cut the center. You're going to cut down. And then you're going to do the same thing. And then you're going to keep moving. You're going to see down here is where we stopped with that number 2. Up here is where we just did that last cut. And same thing. Do the back again. I can pull up. I can see right here is where I finished cutting. All this is the long stuff. And you pretty much just want to keep connecting your fingers so you can see where your last cut was up top and then connect it to your side cut. And then the back, same thing. Here's where I finished cutting his hair. And you're just pretty much moving down your fingers without cutting yourself. Make sure you're like super careful with that. And so now you can see, don't mind Jack's little cowlick. You can see that this stuff is all blended now versus if you look at this side, you can see where it's like all falling. So same thing, you're just gonna pull up his hair. And now I'm gonna start from the bottom here where his hair was finished being cut with the number 2 and just cut against that and move up until you find your piece on top.
I want candy.
Okay, just wait, okay?
I want candy.
Just wait. So now you can start to see that line doesn't look so obvious.